Hey YouTube, this is an attempt to try to do a pedal review with getting sitting on this table. I want to do that. Ideally I'd like to do this in camera thing, but it's not that, can't be bothered. So this is a Mosky Black Rat distortion pedal, which it will not focus on. There you go. So we've got the same three dials you would get in a Rat. See the LED? It's got a wee green square of insulating tape on it because the LED is so bright it burns your eyeballs out if you ever look at it. So that's a big minus point of it. The LED is so damn bright. I tried colouring it in with a black pen, but it wouldn't stick to the... it wouldn't colour it in. So basically you want to put a blob of Tipex or a wee bit of tape on it to try and cut it down. It's got a wee switch on it for vintage and turbo mode, which I will go through. Yep, it's small, doesn't take a battery, just runs on a... You know, these are, I think it's from Ireland, this one, and it was incredibly cheap. It was something like £12.50, like delivered from eBay, and that's for a Rat pedal, right? So, right, I had that plugged in. So I plug it in here. I am running through this wee Harley Benton power plant distributor thing, and I'm playing to the wee Laney VC15, which is on clean. Yeah, so I'm trying to work it where I'm not really thought this out very well. Right, so clean sound. Didn't seem very loud, was it? That's a single coil. Playing through my this nice Grant guitar, which has got very much DiMarzio super distortions in it, sort of Japanese copies. So on with the Rat pedal. So this is all the dials at 12. If you put it onto turbo mode, which I don't know, it just seems to boost it a lot. So you turn the volume down a bit for that. Neck pickup. Bit of filter. You can sort of get a hint at how bright that LED is, but that's it with a bit of tape on it. Filter down. Back onto vintage mode. I'm not sure how different, what the difference between the vintage and turbo Rats are. Is it something to do with LED clipping? I think I read somewhere. Not that I know what that means. You should really be sitting out in such a way you can see where the knobs are. Dodgy connection somewhere. Full dirt. Right, so I've been playing, as I've said in about a billion other videos. That's quite noisy when it's on, but I think the original Rat's like that as well. I've been playing through the Softtech for the last 20 years. There's this like a sort of JCM 800, the 2x12, and I used the Rat pedal so that it sounded like it did when it was at full bung, when I had it at house volume. And the Rat pedal I used was this one, which is my friend Michael bought in America in about 1998 or 1997, something like that. And I used to use it in my first band on the bass. We used to do Song 2 by Blur. And apparently I think in that video he actually stomps on one of these in the actual video, you know, when he stomps on it and they all get flung against the wall. So I looked up these, and these are actually really expensive now. I'm not sure which model it is. I think this is like a 90s reissue of the very first Rat pedal, maybe. The difference being the really, really expensive ones don't have writing on them, I think. Is that what it is? And this one does, but it's like this sort of big box. I converted it to run on a Boss power adapter. But I've been using it for 20 years, and I was thinking that, you know, for 12 quid, what sort of rat do you get? I would still say it was recognisable as a Rat. So if I put all the dials at 12, yep, there is the Black Rat. Here's the real Rat. So what I'm going to do here is I've got, not the only pedal I've got plugged in, I've got a looper pedal on the floor here, so if I just give it a bit of... So that's Black Rat, Proco Rat, what... You can get it. Actually, I have to say that sounds an awful lot more like it than it did when it was messing about with it earlier on. So I think it makes a bit of a difference having the loop pedal in. So that's me. You've got the filter on the Mosky one up at full whack, and the filter is at 12 o'clock on the real Rat. I ran this pedal, as I said, for 20 years, and the only knob I ever touched was, well, I suppose, the volume, maybe to level it out, but I was pretty much all of them are at 12. And occasionally I found if you turned the filter down, if you had a sort of funny sounding guitar, sometimes you wanted really weak pickups. It made a difference, you know, if you put that sort of between sort of 11 and 1, you had a bit of a variance which would cover up to make them all sounding good. So this one you have to have it on... That's the filter up full now. So there you go. So there's a comparison, as good as I could do it, of a Proco Rat, which I think, I don't know what, I mean, maybe the one I saw on eBay was one of those ones that people just put it on as a chancer at a couple £100. So I think these are expensive anyway. I actually think it might have been like 80 or 90 quid new back in the day, or £12 for the Black Rat. It's not as close as I thought it was going to be. You do have to have the filter knob up at full to make it like this one in the middle. I mean, I never really adjusted it very much anyway, especially not to its extremes. So my review would be pretty much for 12 quid. It's not a bad approximation of a Rat pedal. The turbo button just seems to be a volume boost. It doesn't seem to make any difference to the actual sound of it. But I can find that that's enough. Rock and roll. I'm probably going to be buying... I noticed that once I bought this, I started looking at it and I was playing it, but I didn't have the original Rat kicking about. I thought it was a Rat. It's really only when you put the two next to each other you kind of go, alright, okay, it's maybe not quite exactly the same. And let's be honest, it does the Rat does sound better, but not by magnitudes of many times better, slightly better. So I suppose if you're playing, like, you've got, you know, £2,000 guitar and a £2,000 amp, you're not really going to want to use a £12 pedal. You'll spend a couple hundred and buy one of these. But if you're just messing about and fancying a wee bit, oh, I wonder if I'll like the Rat, go for it. Mosky. I'm not sure what other, there's quite a few different variations on Rats made by, which look pretty much exactly the same, in the same container. I'd imagine it's probably an exact copy of the same circuit, so there's probably quite a few different variations that are exactly the same as this, but by a different make on it or whatever. As I said, the only real downside would be the LED is so bright, and when you've got it on the ground, you kind of look over to see what, you know, it's like you can see it's bright, but when you look over to see what you've set the knobs at when it's on the floor, it really is like a pure retina scorching, drilling into the brain type feeling, which wasn't that much fun. So rock and roll. In fact, I've got a Digitech DF7. I might actually just plug that in right now and see how it compares to these two as well. Rock and roll. Oh, it's true bypass. Both of these are true bypass. That was why I didn't use the DF7, because it isn't. So that's like back in the day, going a bit technical here, true bypass switches, a normal switch has 6 poles on the bottom of it. Yeah. And it switches between these two and these two. So that's great, because what you can do is you can use one of them to switch between, put it into the circuit, and the other one to bypass it. Yeah. So what you get these days, which are now much cheaper than they used to be, is you get a 9-pole switch, which means that you can use the other side of the new poles for turning the light on and off. Because that's why original Rats don't have a light on them, because they are true bypass. So any pedal roundabout back in the day, if it's got a light on it, it's probably not true bypass, because there's not enough poles on these switches. But now these switches are cheap, so you can just put them in a £12. I mean, I think back in the day it would cost you significantly more than £12 just for the switch, whereas now £12 for a wee thingy. Rock and roll.